So Sagittarius, we're right in the middle of Sagittarius season right now. And this is the start of the forecast for the 8th to the 14th of December 2025 from your Sagittarius ascendant perspective. This is the week when Mercury comes into your sign, also when we get the very last Mercury opposition to Uranus, and also when Neptune goes direct. This has got some really great aspects. We're coming to the end of the time of the great grand water trines. The patterns of autumn are starting to fade away a little bit early. I know winter doesn't officially start for another week's time as we come out of Sagittarius and go into Capricorn, but it actually feels like we're starting to wrap it up already. So yeah, let's see what's coming up. If you're new to this channel, by the way, my name's Louisa. Welcome to Feel Good Astrology. And what I really want to do is pace you through this week ahead, kind of point out a few roadmaps, planetary ones, that could really give you a heads up. And yeah, let's just see where it takes us. As ever, I'm always going to start by just giving a quick shout out to the people that have supported this channel historically and also currently through membership on school.com. Yeah, thank you so much. And these are the two charts that I'm looking at. This is the first one. This is where we're starting on Monday the 8th. You'll see the moon is in this beautiful grand water trine, the last of its kind this year. And then as we go through to the following week on, this is as we go, this is the chart for actually Monday, the 15th of December. Right at the end of this week, we've got the moon just at the end of Libra. So it's going from Cancer to Libra across this top part of your chart. Now, when you look at your birth chart on whatever device and program you use, if you see that you've got the symbol for Sagittarius and also Capricorn in the first house, this is this wedge here, then it's also worthwhile listening into Capricorn because there's going to be some extra resonance with that forecast. So anyway, this is a whole sign Western tropical forecast. So we're starting here on the 8th. The moon heads into Leo quite quickly. From your perspective, the moon's going to be in the 9th house. The moon is super happy in the 9th house. There's a sense of adventure. There's a sense of expansion, learning, exploration. Nothing is fixed. It just feels like it's time to be quite spontaneous. Now, although this is happening and you're feeling sort of quite buoyant and quite excited, it's important to recognize that there's also on the 9th, Tuesday the 9th, there's a square between Mars and Saturn. Now, it's not just happening there. That's when it's exact. It's already coming in and it'll be fading away thereafter. But on the 2nd in particular, there's this very strong, and we could say blockage actually, because Mars is in your first house, which is usually a time when you're fired up, you're raring to go, you're feeling quite vital, feeling very strong in your body. And then it's in a square to Saturn in your 4th house. The 4th house is the home and the family. So you might feel that you're ready to take action about something, but there's somebody at home that is like a stick in the mud and saying, no way. It feels like a massive kind of slap on the wrist. That's not for you. And I think that could be really frustrating, especially given that at this time, the moon is in the sign of Leo in your 9th house, where you're wanting to explore, learn, go crazy, spontaneous, like choose your own adventure. I love those books in the 80s. They were really good. This is about you choosing your spirituality, making up your own mind, not fitting in with somebody's sturdy, pre-agreed mindset from home. And so, I want you to know this is going to pass. So, you could choose to wage war on whoever's at home because, Mars in the first house is pretty warlike. But I don't recommend it. This will ease off and you'll feel so much better. Really soon. So just be aware of that. Anywhere where it feels like someone is trying to give you pushback, to me, that's a sign that just look somewhere else, just like change your focus, move in a different direction temporarily. You'll be able to move back at some point, but just allow things to clear so that you don't have to stop that feeling of wonder and freedom. If you're going into some kind of war with somebody, you're not really coming from a place of freedom. You're coming from restriction and reaction. Then as we move into the 10th and the 11th, the moon is in the sign of Virgo at the top of your chart. This is very much associated with your career, how you stand in the world, that feeling of assurance, where people notice you and like celebrate you for being you. So it's interesting that here we've got quite a few different things going on during this time. So we've got the very last opposition between Uranus and Mercury, and that's going across your 6th house and your 12th house. That's really getting you to challenge your stories. It feels like there's a lot of challenge coming up, you know. So the idea that someone was kind of slapping your wrist a little bit on the 9th, maybe coming from home, it also feels like there are outside forces that are just kind of messing around with you a little bit. It feels like you're being a bit challenged, a little bit buffeted around. I'm imagining that you're on bumper cars at, you know, a fairground, and you're just getting hit from left and right. Now, that's not to say that's what's going to happen, but you know that feeling where you get a jolt that someone's just smacked into you. Again, I'm not suggesting that or wishing that on you, but just be aware that your steady footing, the steady footing that you've had has been in the stories of who you are. In this 6th house, it feels like people are knocking you off your story and knocking you off your routines. But if you can just recognize that your routines, whilst they feel really important, they are a kind of expression and a story about you. Like, is there a different way you can rewrite your routines? Can you be a bit more flexible about your routines in real time? Because the more stuck and fixed you are on it, the more shocking you might, more shocked you might feel. So I would just be as flexible as possible. And then also on the 10th, Neptune, which again is in the 4th house to do with the home, is finally going direct again, but on 29 degrees of the sign of Pisces. Now, you know, the zodiac, the ecliptic, goes from 0 Aries right the way round to 29 Pisces. And so you could say 29 Pisces is the last of a really long story that's been going on for this side of forever. You know, and the next movement that Neptune's going to make is he will go to 0 Aries in January of 2026, but not yet. So he's right at the end of the story. And this end of the story is about your home life and how you process home, how you experience home, and how you interact with it. So whatever's going on about your stories, your routines, your home, that's why it feels a bit shocking, because you're coming to the end of a pattern and you're getting ready for a new one, which actually could be quite exciting. Then on the 11th, Venus is exactly in a square to the nodes, and you're reminded once again that your career is something that you've got a relative amount of ease on, and a feeling like, I've done that, I know how to do it, I speak that language, it's all good. But the home is where you're learning the language of still, or you need to relearn it, because obviously we all change, don't we? And so it's a great day to be back in your body, back in your senses. Venus really shows all 5 senses. So, you know, if you're feeling frustrated or a little bit out of your body a little bit, you know, breathe and notice the smell that comes in through your nostrils. Notice, what can you smell? What can you hear in your ears? What can you feel on your skin? What can you see? Like, what kind of light and color and texture can you see and pick up with your eyes? You know, connecting with your senses, and it'll get you back in your body as quickly as possible, which I think is really important during this time when, you know, the story about stories is so strong. And then the last thing on Thursday, the 11th, we've got Mercury coming into an exact trine with Neptune, just really showing that there's this kind of deep spike in psychic energy, possibly a tuning in. There's this sort of deep sense of knowing just behind the scenes. And then Mercury comes into the sign of Sagittarius. So to me, I think this is really positive for you. Even though Mercury's not very comfortable in the sign of Sagittarius, I really do think you're about to write yourself a whole new story, if you even want stories. Of course, everything that we seem to encounter here on Earth is based on stories that we have about ourselves. But to me, it just feels like you really are rewriting. And then we're coming into the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 12th, 13th, 14th. And by that time, the moon, if I just move my chart along, the moon is in the 11th house, to do with your contacts, your friends of friends. And it's a place of visions, like shared visions that you might have with people. Now, during this time, we've got Mercury in a sextile with Pluto, which I think is super insightful, really penetrating. I think you'll really have a sense of where you fit into the larger scheme of things, which I think is going to be very beneficial, especially, with the moon in the 11th house. But then on Sunday, we've got two aspects I think could, they run almost at the same time, one first and then the next. Again, I want you to know that the Mars square Neptune that's coming up on Sunday, it could feel like all of a sudden your energy just drops and you can't move forwards. Like Mars still wants to kind of push forwards in the first house, really wanting to take action, and it just feels like something that you were ready to do at home, suddenly it drops out of view. It seems less relevant, or you can't quite put your finger on it, but something stops you. Only this time it's not a feeling of authority, but it's more a feeling of all of a sudden the spirit or the soul isn't there. It just feels like something just isn't flowing. And you could make that mean something. You could choose to get angry about it or feel unworthy or something like that. And I don't recommend that. I just recommend that you recognize, oh yeah, Louisa said that might happen. And actually, she also said, just relax with it. Because, sometimes the energy feels really strong and sometimes it just drops. And I think if you can recognize when it's dropped for a reason. It's time to just rest and focus on something that you feel enlivened by. But at the same time, the sun is making a lovely trine to Chiron. And this is beautiful because the sun is showing you how you can shine as being yourself. And in its link up to Chiron, it's showing you where you've had the courage to work with passion and where you've had the courage to follow everything that lights you up. You're super shiny. And so maybe one of the reasons why you can't get moving at home on Sunday the 14th is because you're not meant to be doing something homebound. You're meant to be doing something really creative and slightly outside of the home, or something really personal. So I hope that's helpful to you. So if you found my take on the charts helpful for you and you'd like me to deep dive with you, I'm open for new people joining my astrological mentorship for 2026. I mean, if you could imagine having this kind of intensity on your chart once a month, me and you meeting on a Zoom call, and really examining you from all different aspects and attending to what's coming up for you, that could be quite powerful. So I still have a couple of places for that. I've also got a membership on school.com/feelgoodastrology. With that, there's Monday to Friday forecasts, also weekly forecast on love, weekly forecast on career for all 12 signs. And then from January, we've got, like, we currently have hangouts, but we're also going to be, I'm going to be hosting lessons as well. So if you want to learn about a new aspect, come with your chart and let's see what arises. So there's lots out there. If you want more, all you need to do is go into the show notes or go to my channel page, and you can find links to get in touch. So anyway, loads of love to you. Have a wonderful week ahead and catch up with you all soon. Bye for now.